Welcome back to my YouTube channel where we explore the fascinating history, the hidden details, and the untold stories behind the coins we often overlook. Today, we delve deep into the world of the Jefferson nickel, specifically focusing on the 1972 Jefferson nickel, a coin that holds not only monetary value, but also a piece of American history that is worth preserving and understanding in its entirety. To truly understand the 1972 Jefferson nickel, we must start with the origins of the Jefferson nickel itself. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in the year 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, which had been in circulation since 1913. The decision to replace the Buffalo nickel came after the U.S. Mint determined it was time to redesign the 5-cent coin, as the design of a coin could be legally changed after 25 years without the need for congressional approval. So in 1938, the United States Mint held a public competition, inviting American artists to submit their designs for the new nickel. The winning design came from artist and sculptor Felix Schlag, whose depiction of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, was chosen for the obverse, while his original reverse design was altered to better showcase Jefferson's Monticello estate. Felix Schlag's final design was placed into circulation in late 1938 and would remain largely unchanged for decades. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of Jefferson, while the reverse displays the neoclassical architecture of Monticello Jefferson's Virginia home. The design captured the spirit of American democracy and innovation, and with the Jefferson nickel's continued use through various wars, economic downturns, and cultural shifts, it became a staple of American coinage. Now we turn our attention specifically to the 1972 Jefferson nickel to understand its context. We must examine the state of the United States and the Mint during the early 1970s. The year 1972 was marked by a number of political and economic developments. The United States was still entangled in the Vietnam War, which had been ongoing for nearly 2 decades. The country was preparing for a presidential election, as Richard Nixon was. Approaching his campaign for a second term, the American economy was facing inflationary pressure, and public trust in government institutions was gradually declining. Despite these challenges, the Mint continued its operations, producing billions of coins each year to support the growing needs of commerce. The 1972 Jefferson nickel was minted at 3 different locations: the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. Each of these locations played a role in creating coins for circulation and collector sets. The Philadelphia Mint produced coins without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint used a D mint mark, and the San Francisco Mint used an S mint mark. But in 1972, most nickels from San Francisco were made as proof coins intended for collectors rather than for everyday circulation. From a numismatic perspective, the 1972 Jefferson nickel is not particularly rare in circulated condition, as hundreds of millions were struck that year. However, collectors value certain characteristics that make some 1972 nickels far more desirable. These include full steps designations, where the steps on Monticello on the reverse of the coin are fully struck and visible. This feature can greatly increase the value of a coin as it demonstrates a high level of detail, and a clean strike from the dies used in production achieving full steps can be difficult and is often seen as a sign of a higher-grade coin. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 217 million Jefferson nickels in 1972. The Denver Mint produced more than 351 million, while the San Francisco Mint created approximately 3.2 million proof coins. This makes the 1972 D Jefferson nickel the most common among the 3 mints. However, quality control varied, and finding well-struck examples from any of the mints remains a challenge for dedicated collectors. When examining a 1972 Jefferson nickel, collectors also look for errors and varieties. These can include die clashes, die cracks, off-center strikes, double die obverses or reverses, and repunched mint marks. One well-known variety from the 1970s includes doubled dies, where the design elements appear to be duplicated, slightly offset due to a misalignment during the die creation process. While there are no widely recognized doubled die varieties specifically attributed to the 1972 Jefferson nickel, examples of minor doubling may still exist and can command a premium depending on clarity and rarity. The condition of a coin also significantly affects its value. A 1972 Jefferson nickel, in average circulated condition, is worth its face value of 5 cents, but uncirculated examples, especially those with full steps, can be worth several dollars or more. High-grade proof coins from San Francisco with mirror-like surfaces, deep cameo contrast, and clean fields can fetch premium prices in the collector market. To understand why collectors are drawn to the Jefferson nickel, we must also look at Thomas Jefferson himself. He was one of the most influential founding fathers of the United States, the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, and the third president of the country. His advocacy for liberty, republicanism, and education shaped American political philosophy for generations to come. His home, Monticello, is not only a marvel of neoclassical architecture, but also a symbol of his Enlightenment ideals. Jefferson's image on the nickel represents more than a historical figure. It embodies the aspirations of a young nation seeking independence, innovation, and integrity. The Jefferson nickel's endurance through history is also noteworthy. It survived the transition from silver to clad coinage that occurred in other denominations. It witnessed the removal of silver from dimes and quarters in 1965 and stood as one of the few denominations to maintain a consistent metallic composition. Since World War II, the alloy of the Jefferson nickel is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a combination chosen for durability and resistance to corrosion. This same composition was used during the war years except from 1942 to 1945, when the wartime nickels were struck with a composition of copper, silver, and manganese to conserve nickel for military use. As we explore the production and legacy of the 1972 Jefferson nickel, it becomes clear that even common coins can tell us volumes about our history, our values, and our identity as a nation. The process of coin design, minting, and distribution involves a complex network of artists, engravers, historians, engineers, economists, and public officials, each contributing their expertise to ensure that the coins in our pockets represent the best of American craftsmanship and heritage. The appeal of collecting Jefferson nickels lies in the thrill of the hunt, the joy of finding a high-grade specimen, the discovery of a rare variety or error, and the satisfaction of building a complete set spanning decades of American history. The 1972 Jefferson nickel is just one chapter in this story, but it is a meaningful one. Its place in the 1970s, a period of transformation, tension, and progress, mirrors the evolving role of coinage in a modernizing society. In conclusion, the 1972 Jefferson nickel may seem like an ordinary coin to some, but to numismatists, historians, and collectors, it is a key piece in the larger puzzle of American culture and heritage. It represents the legacy of Thomas Jefferson, the evolution of coin design, and the enduring role of money in everyday life. Whether you are a seasoned collector or a curious beginner, I hope this deep dive into the 1972 Jefferson nickel has inspired you to look more closely at the coins you encounter and to appreciate the remarkable stories they carry. Stay tuned as we continue to uncover more stories and secrets from the world of coin collecting right here on this channel. And remember, every coin has a history and every history has a voice waiting to be heard.